Our show is brought to you by Barreto Home Solutions, Bayou Audio and Video, Hot Works on the North Shore, JFK Martial Arts in Mandeville and Covington, Lil Dizzy's Cafe, The Green Law Firm, Personal Injury Attorney, Kaylin Parker of Magnolia Wealth Strategies, Moe's Pizza, Lance's AC and Heating, CC's Children Blocks, The Pierre Family in Lafayette, Louisiana, Drums Earwear.
Hands up, hands up. If you winning and you don't give a fuck about a hater, tell them move, 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 move. Cause I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. 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 Hands up, hands up. If you winning and you don't give a fuck about a hater, tell them move, 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 move. Cause I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Hash It Out Show. I'm your host, JB, the Sports Guy. We got a big one for y'all tonight. 7:30. The head coach of the North Iberville Bears, Coach Joshua Gast, will join us. North Iberville, they're undefeated in their first year back in varsity football since 2008. Then at 8:15, the head coach of the Haynes Academy Yellow Jackets, one and only Ben Powell, will join us at 8:15 as Haynes Academy is 5-0. So we'll have both coaches on in a little bit. Talk a little Saints, talk a little college football Saturday. But I can't do it without my two co-hosts. Got the one and only VK Jones. What's up, VK?
What's going on, everybody? Like, tag, share, subscribe to the Hash It Out Show on all social media platforms. Log on to the hashitoutshow.com. And we definitely appreciate all the support on all our social medias and everything. And bro, we continue to getting better and better, man. We've been having some successful, very good broadcasts and everything, man. We're continuing to grow as a show. I'm loving what the product has.
We got the one and only George Peppers. What's going on, GP?
What's up, JB? VK, I'm great to be with y'all again. If it's Tuesday night, it's the it's the Hash It Out Show. We got two great guests, and I bet about 80% of you don't know where North Iberville is and who they are. But we're gonna educate you tonight about them. That is a story I looked up today. They have done first year back since '08. You said right, undefeated. Oof.
Yeah.
And my alma mater is 1-5. What's going on here? But all kidding aside, but no, it's going to be a great show tonight. Two great guests. I know y'all like picks. That's tomorrow night. And our hashtag show given it this week brings us to Edgar, Louisiana, where we got Riverside going down to West St. John. And will Dedrick Lasting do what he did last week? Probably not. But man, that's one of the most singular, greatest performances of the year anywhere in the state of Louisiana. That dude, if he was 5'8", 180, D1's going to be kicking his door down.
Every school knocking at the door. Every school knocking at the door.
Except
All right,
Florida
guys.
State. I'm kidding.
There you go. All right, let's get
I'm
into
just
it.
playing.
Let's get into it right quick. I want to start off with hold on. We got some comments. Let's see what we got first. Hold on. Enoch. What's up, Enoch? Good last week of football. Called the South Border going versus the Kinder game. LSU won, and my Lions and Mountain Cowboys on Sunday. There you go. Jordan Taylor says Taco Tuesday. That's right. Noel Toussaint. Let's go. North Iberville Bears and one of the best to ever do it, Coach Joshua Gast. That's right. Miss Noel, don't you go nowhere. You stay right there with us when he comes on at 7:30. Well, let's get right to it, guys. New Orleans Saints. Spencer Rattler got his first start. Looked good. He didn't play bad. He did throw 2 interceptions late, but it wasn't bad. But obviously, the New Orleans Saints got outcoached in the second half by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as they made any and every adjustment to stop Spencer Rattler in his passing game. VK, your thoughts right quick on the game itself.
Well, I could definitely say Spencer really did a good job when he stepped in. He really did, and I'm not being the hater at all of Spencer Rattler. You know what I'm saying? I knew when the Saints drafted him, I said that was a very good pick. They needed somebody to really retool the future of the franchise. And he really looked good in preseason. In this game, he did some really, really good things. But you could see it's obvious, still a lot of injuries, and it's continuing to pile up, and it's not good at all. And you're absolutely right, Jared. Second half, credit Tampa Bay. They made major adjustments, and the Saints couldn't recover. It was just everything was coming down a hill, and that's just what it is right then and there. But it just shows with Dennis Allen, uh, you know, when the trigger's gonna get pulled. I don't know, but it's coming down the line because this is getting a little more ridiculous a little bit. The only benefit of the doubt I do give Allen is it's a freaking mass unit right now with the Saints. It's a lot more injuries, almost a lot more than last season. So that is not good at all and no depth. So that's not just with Dennis Allen, that's one thing, but it's also general management and everything else behind the scenes that we don't have good enough guys behind. So it is what it is with that. But Thursday night on a short week at that, I mean, man, it's gonna be interesting on Thursday night, man.
George Peppers.
Where to start? I see Reginald Johnson with probably an obvious comment, but I'm not going to repeat. Listen, where to start? How do you peel the layers of what happened Sunday? It started horribly, down 17-0 before you could sit down and settle in. And we're down 17-0, and it looked like Rattler really. Look, if I could grade performances, and I will, I'd give him a C+. I think a C+ suffices. The 2 interceptions in the second half, one wasn't his fault. It went off, I think, a Saints hand. I forgot who. And the other one was just a read he thought he had and he didn't. So I'm not going to completely fault him, but you also have to factor that 3 linemen were not playing Sunday. Um, Olave got blistered Sunday, got knocked out with a concussion, and for the life of me, I don't know why there was no laundry thrown on the hit because it sure looked like helmet to helmet to me,
Nah,
and no flag
nah.
was thrown.
We
You
can
don't
talk
think
about
so?
that. No, Chris Olave turned
Okay,
into a
but
runner.
let's
He wasn't even defensive
let
anymore.
me say okay.
And the
Let
side
me
of the
say
helmet,
what
he
I
wasn't
re-
hit. He wasn't even ground. Go
yeah.
ahead.
Let me say what I really think happened in the second half. Y'all are dead right about the adjustments. Y'all are 100% on point. Tampa Bay made the proper adjustments, the proper reads. Baker Mayfield look, he threw 3 interceptions. So you take that away, they had 594 yards without the 3 turnovers. What happens? I mean, with the 3 turnovers, what happens if he doesn't make those mistakes and keeps those 3 possessions? It's an evisceration. It's worse than what happened in Dallas Sunday with Detroit. This team in the second half quit on Dennis Allen. They flat quit on him. He's got no pulse of his team. Listen to his post game presser and look at his tenor. Look at his tone. He had that look of resignation on his face. Now I'm going to say this, VK. You're right. They should pull the trigger. If it does not happen after Thursday night, because that's a 10-day window between that game and the game in Los Angeles against the Chargers the following Sunday. If they don't pull the trigger, it's not happening until the end of the year. I'm telling you, Gail Benson is going to follow the lineage of Tom. She does not fire coaches in season. It's if it doesn't happen after Thursday, if the only way it happens is if Denver does to the Saints, sort of what Detroit did Dallas. If you see that, and you're like, how could Bo Nix do it? Bo Nix looked horrible in the first half Sunday, got it together. rally, but they fell short. But if he does that performance Thursday night, dominate, how do you not whack Dennis Allen? The result. Look, there's an interesting article in the Times-Picayune today, y'all. Check it out. Used to before Tampa Bay, before Dennis Allen took the job, they never lost in Tampa Bay. It almost felt like it with Peyton as the coach. They had a great record. Dennis Allen's got, I think, one win in his tenure against Tampa. How did we forget to beat a team that we used to beat all the time? That's my question. Tells me it's coaching. And Dennis Allen is like second going run as a head coach. See ya. The pink slips are already happening. I don't. This team has not got no progression. Yes, they're a mass unit, but they've got no progression. They've got no desire to play for this man. They don't want to play for him. They're not going to tell you that, but you could see it on the field. The tackles missed in the fourth quarter Sunday were ridiculous. I've seen Pee Wee leaguers give more effort than the Saints did Sunday in the fourth quarter. They gave up 21 points. Tell me that's not a sign of a team that's quit on their coach.
I'm not gonna say quit on their coach. This is what I'm gonna say. The coach set them up to fail, and the players checked out. Plain and simple. The coaches set them up to fail, and they checked out. What else you think players are gonna do when the coaches don't make the adjustments that the players are set up to be successful? That happens.
Okay, when you say the coaches set them up to fail, what do you mean? Define that to me. I need to. What do you mean? Define that to me.
He didn't do anything.
Okay, so it's adjust. Okay, we're going. Okay. I mean, we're all calling for the man to go. It sounds like the three of us are in unison about, hey, look, they need to have a regime change. It needs to happen. But what about the man upstairs, Mickey? Look, you did yeoman's work. It's time to go. We need fresh Saints fans. Let me make y'all understand one thing.
The Sean Payton era in New Orleans is over with. I know they
brought in
Kubiak, got a new
Clint Kubiak.
Got a new offense that they're running.
You're good.
But Mickey's still part of that Sean Payton era. That era is over.
And see, my thing is this. Saints fans need to admit one thing. They have to finally admit you can't put a Band-Aid on a leaky pipe. A Band-Aid never works. Blow this thing. Like we can't call for this 2 years ago. Blow this thing up. Start from scratch. He called this 2 years ago. Blow this thing up. Start from scratch. Stop denying the obvious. This team is in a path to mediocrity if they're not already there. And they're slotted to pick 11th in the 2025 draft right now, but they'll probably go up higher if they keep losing. And at this point, I mean, with what stock is in this draft, what do you attack? And that's way down the line. Who takes this job? Who wants this job? New Orleans. If you get rid of Dennis Allen, I think this is a desirable spot.
It is.
Yes,
it is.
I think if you rank openings, this is one of those in the top 3, 4. I think.
Well, let's move on to Thursday night, Saints versus Denver Broncos. Sean Payton comes back home. Talk of people are going to boo Sean Payton. I think that will be during the game. I don't think they're going to boo Sean Payton when they honor him before the game. Sean Payton did wonders here. He's the greatest coach ever in New Orleans Saints history. He has a Super Bowl that he won here. So if you boo Sean Payton, something is seriously wrong with the hell with you. Yeah, I know that didn't sound right, but something's seriously wrong with y'all.
No, you said it right. You said it right.
Yeah.
Something is wrong with y'all if y'all boo Sean Payton. But in regards to that, guys, what are your thoughts about Thursday night? Will the Saints win, or does Sean Payton come in here and get the win? I think Sean Payton will come in here and get the win in the Superdome, his home.
It would be obvious. It's obvious that Denver is going to go and handle business, should win the game big. If they don't, it wouldn't be surprised. It might be a little closer, but somehow Denver's going to just pull away and be done with it. You know what I'm saying? Reggie Johnson, where you been? We ain't see you all season long. Now you're talking because the Broncos playing the Saints. But it is what it is with that. But regardless of that, I'm thinking right then and there, I think, the Broncos, I think they're going to handle their business. I think the fans, they're going to give them a standing ovation before the game. They're going to give them a standing ovation, standing O, and you might just hear the boos during the game, and that's the best way to do it. I think this should not, nowhere in the world. There's certain times like you can't really like me and I hate to bring this up, George, and I have to bring it up a little bit. Sometimes there's gonna be moments that you cannot boo certain people sometimes because sometimes people how sometimes people leave might be sour taste in the mouth. But
Mhm.
then sometimes you have to be grateful for what people have done because I'm telling you, sometimes you don't get that moment again. Like the discussion me and George had, we said Peyton, I definitely agree. We talked about if one day if Tulane ever plays the University of Houston. Now we talked about the former coach. Now the reason why that came up because of the discussion of former coach comes back. Now the thing and the exception of the rule is like he's like, man, they should boo for Willie Fritz. I said, hell no. He coached probably, and I ain't gonna lie, what I think it was 3 or 4 bowl appearances for Fritz, 3 bowl wins, including the greatest season in Tulane history. The
I don't know. I
greatest.
don't know. That's still the greatest season.
I'm
I don't
sorry.
know.
I'm
The
Thank
sorry.
you.
undefeated season.
Thank you,
The
Jared
I'm
Dillon.
undefeated
sorry.
season,
No,
My
bro.
no,
God.
no. I'm sorry. No,
Undefeated season.
no.
I
I'm
know you were
sorry.
saying they
No,
beat
I'm sorry.
USC in the Cotton Bowl. I know what you're saying. They beat USC in the Cotton Bowl. I get it. But
Listen,
that undefeated season team probably could have played with
Thank you.
anybody in the nation.
hey, I'm not disagreeing with that, but here's my thing
He
on
did.
that. Here's my thing. Listen, no, George, be quiet. Let me finish.
Oh, wait, hold on, man. Don't get.
Oh,
Let
Oh,
me
wait.
no,
Hold on.
no.
hold up.
You ain't
I
got to
didn't
get
I'm gonna
like
do
like
what he
no,
that,
no,
does.
bro.
Watch.
hold
You
on,
ain't got
hold
to
on.
get like
See,
that,
watch.
bro.
Look.
No,
Look
no,
what I'm
no.
doing.
I didn't like. I
Raising a
didn't like the
hand.
remark. I didn't like the remark. I'm just saying. I didn't like that remark right there. This is what I'm saying, Jared. I get what you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? That Tulane team was really, really good. I get it. They could play with anybody in the nation. Too bad that thing was in a Liberty Bowl, which the Liberty Bowl was pretty good back then. You know, BYU, a
Still
hell of
is.
a good program. That's a good program
Mm-hmm.
they beat. But at the same time, this Tulane team with 2 losses that season. Well, more than what the undefeated team
One.
was. One loss. Oh, one loss
No,
that season.
two,
Two
two,
But
losses.
two?
two losses. Yes,
2 losses. They went
two losses.
It
they
was
went
two. I'm
12,
trying to remember.
12, 12-2 on the year. For them to come back, win the conference, but not just that, to win in the Cotton Bowl and get vengeance on a team they lost to way back in the Rose Bowl. People
Mm-hmm.
don't remember that. 98 years that those two teams faced each other in a Rose Bowl and get
Oh, I see
vengeance.
you,
Hey,
Jared.
that's facts. That's facts. I'm
No, I
sorry,
see Jared there. I'm like, man.
Jared. That's facts, bro. That dude, you come, and on top of that, you come back against the Heisman Trophy winning quarterback to win that game on New Year's Day, the first New Year's Day game, maybe the second New Year's Day game ever for Tulane, and they win.
All right, look.
Just
Let
saying
George.
though.
Let George get in here about the
Go ahead,
Saints.
George. Go
That's
ahead,
the
George.
topic. The Saints. Go ahead, George.
Go ahead, George.
Tulane. Wait, what are we talking about? The Saints now? Or are
The
we on
Saints.
Tulane?
Yeah,
Talking
yeah.
about the Saints
The
Broncos.
question was for the
Oh, the Saints
Chargers
and the
of
Broncos. How do we get
yeah.
We
He
talking
okay,
was
about
trying to
how do we migrate
compare
to Willow
about
Street? I got
he was trying to compare about booing Willie Fritz if he ever comes back and play Tulane or whatever. Yeah. Go ahead. We about the
let's just
Saints.
say there was almost a vehicle eviction the other day in that discussion. Just gonna say that. Um as far as the Saints and the Broncos, I don't know. I mean, what happened Sunday? See, Rattler is going to have a second start. He should, by theory, be more comfortable. You would think, he's got the terminology a little bit more repetitive. Yeah, he was there, Austin. He was there. Uh,
Austin. Go look at the history
Let
books.
George go, man. Let George
Go,
go.
let me
George.
let me
Go,
finish.
George.
Can I
Tell I
finish?
Go.
talk about.
Go.
I'm gonna do like the Rock does. Put that hand up. When my hand goes up, there you go. All right. I'm just kidding about that. But anyway, no, I don't know what to expect from the team Thursday night. It's going to be a home game. It's on prime time. Then I don't know if any local channel is going to show it because it's Amazon Prime. But I don't know if any channel is going to show it like Fox or DSU or somebody like that. We don't know. I don't know off the top of my head. I know there's going to be quite people wanting to see it. Do you really want to? I mean, this is going to be. And look, let's not indict Spencer Rattler. I mean, the people are going to see 2 picks. They're going to be like, "Oh man, he's not the guy." And slow down. 3 offensive linemen missing. He's going to be missing Rashid Shaheed, who's got a knee injury. He's going to miss Olave because he's not going to make it back from the concussion. A ton of defensive players out. Um, but I can't get behind the Broncos to win the game. If you're asking that, I don't know if I could get behind Denver to win this thing. They won't start like they did Sunday against Los Angeles, but this could be a very close to the vest defensive kind of game where the first team to 20 wins it. I think the first team to 20 gets the dub.
I don't know.
The Saints are handicapped.
Saints defense are the worst defense in the league right now.
They are. They're like 32nd. They're dead last. After what happened Sunday, DSU, thank you, Reginald. And your Broncos still stink, by the way. Even if they beat New Orleans, they still are going to be bottom of the barrel. Well, actually, no, the Raiders are worse. But yeah, you talking all that noise because they're playing New Orleans. But hey, good luck to you.
All right, guys. I got to move on. We got 7 minutes before Coach Gast come on. I want to talk a little bit college football. What a weekend it was.
Mm-hmm.
Great football. Oregon cheating their way to get a victory. Boy,
Cheating.
Yes, that was great. That was great. I got a problem with it. I ain't got a problem with it.
What point did you make? I just want to know.
Ohio State has the ball, and Oregon puts in a 12th man, and the play has the clock runs.
Yeah. They missed that.
Okay. And Oregon does get a 5-yard penalty, and Ohio State's not in field goal range, so that means they have to snap the ball and go again, and Will Howard runs and slides, and game over. So they're probably going to change that rule. If you got 12 men on the field, defense, well, it's going to be a dead ball penalty. Probably going to change that rule. Dan Lanning kind of admitted that was a strategy. So, yeah, what a win for the Oregon.
He was being slick.
Yeah. What a win for the Oregon Ducks.
Wow.
LSU, man, if you watch that game, you sit there and say, how did Ole Miss lose this game? Because Ole Miss really dominated the game. But LSU defense in the second half made a bunch of stops, got a bunch of sacks, and found a way to win in overtime. We got 6 minutes quickly. LSU, VK, quickly.
LSU, man, I mean, they stepped up in a big-time game, and they handled business. Credit Coach Baker and his defense, the way they're adjusting this ball game. And how about the former Thibodeau Tiger, Kyron Lacey, bro? Game winner in overtime. LSU still in the college football playoff race. The Alabama game is starting to get bigger now.
Yes, indeed. GP,
it is already big. Quickly, if Ole Miss has a viable head coach, they dominate that game. If Lane Kiffin showed you he is grossly overrated in how he coached that game. He coached that game not to lose. They were in front and he banked on things and he didn't have his foot on the gas pedal. He coached not to lose. That's not what you do in the SEC. With the improved SEC with a couple of great teams, Texas, Bama, Georgia, and you're trying to get in that conversation, you got a coach to win. He didn't do that. LSU fortunate to win that football game. And look, quietly, Coach Baker's got that defense getting better. They are getting better. They still got some work to do. But Lane Kiffin is Lincoln Riley Part 2. Overrated. Can't win the big game. Coaches coaches not to lose. That's what he does in big games. Against anybody else, he'll dominate. But against the big boys, he's got problems. And Ole Miss has to figure that part out. They dominated that game Saturday in every way.
Yes.
Exactly. The LSU was nowhere near Ole Miss in that first half Saturday, and Ole Miss was still scratching and clawing to hold the lead. They stayed in front all the way to, when LSU led? When they won the game. They never had the lead in the game at any point. They tied it to get to overtime, and the only time they had the lead was the winning score to Kyron Lacey, and that was a stupid coverage by Ole Miss's guy. He's sitting there, let Lacey get in front of you, and you go stumbling and falling like some drunk on Bourbon Street. Come on, man, really?
He had the
That's
cover.
crazy.
He had the cover.
But his footwork was terrible.
Lacey,
his footwork as he turned around.
Lacey, I think
not Kyron, the defender.
Lacey wanted it more than a defender. Go look at the video from LSU itself. What Kyron Lacey said before that play. He said, I wanted that ball. He said how
He
wanted that
did.
ball.
Look,
I
look, look,
believe it.
look.
That's how
My
he
boy
pointed it
waving
out
the
too.
finger, Darren. Go ahead.
He waved that finger too on that video. He said
Wait,
he
Jordan
wanted that
Taylor
ball.
saying, I know we're about to get Coach Gast on, but Jordan Taylor
LSU,
saying control our own destiny for what?
LSU,
Where y'all
LSU,
going?
LSU,
Yeah,
LSU.
where they going?
LSU.
What if Bama beats them?
Oh,
Man,
look,
that
listen,
might be an
listen,
elimination game, bro. They
listen,
It
both
is
got
an
one
elimination
loss.
game.
listen,
It
listen,
is.
listen, guys. Listen. The DB had good coverage. He was there, but he stumbled. He stumbled.
He sure
And
did.
that's it. He fell. Currently, he has an easy catch at the ball. That's it. I understand VK saying currently he wanted it more. I get it. But if he doesn't fall, we may be saying something differently. I don't know.
That's true.
But LSU comes with the win. We got 3 minutes before we get Coach Gast in here. Quickly, guys, before we go to commercial break, your thoughts of Alabama and South Carolina. Alabama, to me, got lucky. VK.
Very, very fortunate to get the win. They should handle business this week against Tennessee, but who knows? Here's one college football playoff elimination game coming up this weekend.
GP.
Remember, Tennessee has one loss, and they're at home.
George Pepper,
So,
get in.
They do. Bama was a little fortunate against South Carolina, but they got the win. Doesn't matter how you win as long as you get it. We'll see what happens this week against Tennessee. That game's in Neyland, or is that game at Bama?
no, that game in Neyland. It's in Neyland this time.
All right.
Okay, so it's going to be tough sledding there. It's going to be a tough sled there. Okay.
All right. All right, guys. We got to go to commercial break.
Go ahead.
When we come back, we will be joined by the head coach of the North Iberville Bears, the one and only Coach Joshua Gast, right here on the Hash It Out Show.
Welcome to Bayou AV Security. My name is Rusty Mathern, proud owner and operator. We specialize in providing top-notch audio solutions, advanced security cameras, reliable internet services, and stunning permanent holiday lighting. At Bayou AV Security, we are your one-stop shop for all your needs, whether it's enhancing your home entertainment system, securing your property, ensuring a seamless internet connection, or illuminating your outdoor spaces. We've got you covered. We are locally owned and conveniently located on the West Bank. As a fully licensed business, we take pride in delivering quality service you can trust. You can see our exceptional work showcased in the Parade of Homes. Experience the Bayou difference firsthand. Bayou AV Security, where technology meets reliability. Call us today to experience the Bayou difference.
Hands up, hands up. If you winning and you don't give a fuck about a hater, tell them move. Move, move, move. Cause I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. 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 Hands up, hands up. If you winning and you don't give a fuck about a hater, tell them move. Move, move, move. Cause I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning.
Welcome back to the Hash It Out Show. I am JB the Sports Guy. I'm joined by my co-host VK Jones. And yes, the Hash It Out Show game of the week this Friday night has the Riverside Rebels traveling to Edgar to take on the West St. John Rams. You can catch it on JB the Sports Guy YouTube page. Pregame at 6:30. Kickoff at 7 o'clock. VK Jones and George Peppers will have to call. Our next guest, he is the head coach of the North Iberville Bears. They are undefeated. undefeated, 6-0, and it's their first year of playing varsity football. We have the head coach joining us, the one and only Coach Joshua Gast. Coach Gast, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Thanks for having me.
Good.
Excited.
Thank you for
Good,
joining us,
good. How you
Coach.
doing?
Coach, what was the reason that you decided to become a head coach?
I honestly didn't even plan on getting into the profession when I was in college, and kind of fell into my lap a position. And over probably the first 5 years of doing it, I felt like it was something that I wanted to pursue. And I had a lot of great mentors along the way and guys that I worked under, and just kind of seeing the way they did it inspired me when I was at St. Paul's and over at Liberty too. So yeah, it's kind of been a long time coming, but I love where I landed at up in North Iberville.
So what was the reason that you decided to be the head coach, to accept the job at North Iberville?
Well, it's kind of a crazy story. It was pretty late in the game in the hiring back in 2022, and North Iberville had just decided to reopen the school. I was over at Liberty at the time, and I was like, let me just throw my name in the hat and see what this is all about. And I won't lie, I mean, the the people out there know this. The first time I drove on the campus, I was like, where on earth am I? I had passed the Gross State Rosedale exit before, but you kind of drive down there through some cane fields, and all of a sudden a school appears. And you know, the first thing I realized was how much potential that the school had, and that's kind of what drew me to the position. We've had great administration since I've been there, and the district itself likes to. I mean, they set you up for success. So we've had a lot of support from our school district too. So it kind of turned into a no-brainer pretty quick. I feel very fortunate to have landed here.
Liberty, while you were there, you built the program from scratch. How did that help you resurrect a North Iberville program from scratch also?
Yeah, that was a huge help, and I don't know, but it may have been part of the reason I got the job. I had kind of been through that process before, and I was offense coordinator at Liberty, working under Dre Trosclair, and we kind of meshed well from the beginning with our philosophies, with X's and O's wise, and man, coming from a school like St. Paul's that's making deep playoff runs every year and competing with big dogs like Carr and Curtis and all them, I had to take a step back and kind of you know humble myself. Like, wow, a lot of these kids, they don't even know how to run a slant route yet or do a back squat. And so you kind of tell yourself this is going to be a long process. You have to be patient, but the light at the end of the tunnel is worth it, and the process is too. I've enjoyed both experiences tremendously, but yeah, working at Liberty kind of it taught me you got to be patient, because these kids, they've got a lot of potential, but they just need the right staff in place and the right leaders and mentors to believe in them, and the fruit can be worth it.
This is you guys' first year playing varsity football.
Right.
What was the message to your team when you guys started spring practice, knowing that we're about to start varsity football?
Yeah, so actually year two, we it was our second JV year, but I did my best to kind of schedule up, and we played two varsity games last year, and actually kind of everybody was excited because we had an impact on the playoffs and the power points for some other schools. We won both of those games and kind of got our toes wet playing some Friday night football, even though we weren't playoff eligible. And then as far as the JV games we scheduled, we got away from the 1A games last year since it was essentially our varsity program, all of our players, and we played up with some bigger schools, and really just try to challenge ourselves so that way this year wouldn't be such a shock with the level of competition going into it. Now, obviously, the stakes are a lot higher, and I definitely think it took us a few games to get rolling. I wasn't too happy about our jamboree and how we played early on, but yeah, I feel like we kind of been here before a little bit, and going into spring last year, like you asked, everyone was just fired up to finally hit and have a meaningful spring that was going to translate into a varsity season. So we actually had a great spring. They got really competitive, and we played an inter-squad game at the end of that.
You guys are 6-0. Talk about how your team is dealing with the success so far of having a successful season and being undefeated.
I think when you're winning, it's easy to get a little complacent. And so I credit our leaders, our captains, our seniors on the team, as well as the staff, for kind of keeping everybody humble throughout the process. Each week presents its own set of challenges. So, we have to find ways to get motivated about a new game plan. And, practice can get monotonous at this point in the season. So how we're going to get out there, still be energetic. And especially when you're 4-0, 5-0, 6-0, we know we're our opponent's Super Bowl at that point. They're ready to come in and, wreck our season and, tell us we're overrated and all that. So it's motivating to, I guess, go into each week and, find ways to make it your Super Bowl too. So I really got to tip my hats to, our core leaders on the team and the character of them for showing up to every practice like it's the biggest game of the week.
Before I pass it on to my co-host VK Jones, this upcoming weekend you have White Castle. What is it that you've seen on tape that stands out to you about White Castle?
Well, it's pretty much the the two things you don't ever want to see when you click on the film. They're big and they're really fast. So we know White Castle has been one of the top dogs in the district for years. They made a Superdome run not too long ago. And so, we're pretty much going into this game like, hey, we can keep this thing competitive and hang with these guys. We love our chances going forward this year. I know White Castle's record isn't outstanding this year, but they probably have, couldn't just schedule a lot of easy teams. They've had some really tough matchups along the way. So we're not sleeping on them at all. They're going to be probably our toughest opponent of the year so far.
VK.
Coach Gast, man, thank you so much for joining us. I know you was wondering, like, who's the Hash It Out show, and all of a sudden he's like, oh, okay, man. I'm like, we heard about y'all guys, man. But we appreciate you taking the time to come on and join us. And we cover everybody all over the state, and we're honored to have you on to talk about your program.
Right on. I appreciate y'all having me. I follow you guys. I know what it's all about. We need more and more shows and high school sports coverage from you guys, because putting our kids on a platform is huge. We appreciate it. So thank you guys for reaching out.
You're welcome.
Nope. No, you're welcome. We'll definitely reach out to y'all for more things. But at the same time, gotta ask you this. Taking over a program like North Iberville and everything else, I know it was a challenge in itself. What more than anything has really helped you really get things going, not just as a head coach, but also how things went with the team and how things made things a little bit on a roll a little bit after the earlier challenges. And now it's like, okay, we're really coming together, especially the community and everybody else to support and all that stuff.
Yeah, the list is pretty long of people to shout out, to credit for how we started this varsity year. But I think it all kind of goes back to the youth league in the community. In Iberville Parish, they've got a strong youth league, and some of our local guys, Guy Thomas, Marvin Price, back in the day, long before I was there, they kind of fired up the youth league, and these guys have been playing together for a while. And they were still called the Mighty Bears, and they had a good team rolling on the north end. And then they get to the high school level and they break up and go to the different high schools that were available before North reopened. So a big shout out to them. But our district as well, once they decided to reopen, the district has been very supportive, kind of giving us the things we need to make this possible. We started in year one, I think it was late June, early July. We didn't have a football or a helmet. And there were supply chain issues all over the country. I was calling other schools, begging for a pair of shoulder pads, whatever I could get. Our players were taping helmets and painting them white to make them all match, because we were just trying to figure it out on the run. And we went to the stores and bought some footballs on our own. And I think our superintendent, Dr. Joffrion at the time, drove us our set of jerseys, and our first essentially padded practice was the day before our first game. And they made it happen. So huge shout out to the district too, and really bright things, future and things to come for our school too. We have a big project starting right after this season to kind of upgrade all of our facilities over there. So, you know, having the support of the community, the youth league, the district, it's I can't thank them enough because it wouldn't have been possible without all them.
Well, what does it take, especially for Iberville Parish, to send a message that, hey, we're out here too? I know y'all. I know Iberville Parish is a little bit past up the Baton Rouge area a little bit, but at the same time, what kind of message you trying to send to say, hey, don't forget us. We know about Baton Rouge, but don't forget us.
Right. Well, there's a lot of guys that probably could be going to North Iberville that don't. I think we're like one of the bottom 5 size schools in the state. We're very low population. And my thing was like, I mean, we don't have a private school in our area, but some of our kids, they could still have opted out to go down to Plaquemine or the MSA schools in our district. And I was like, I'm just trying to convince these guys like, hey, it's going to be worth it. Please buy in. And if we could just keep the kids in our community, at our community, which we're starting to do a much better job of, you know, I think North Iberville could be good for, you know, a long way to go. So, you know, that's my message is pretty much like, hey, if you live around here, you're in our area already, just put your trust in us. You know, it's going to be a fun ride.
Now, guys undefeated, great start, 6-0. Also, I don't know if you know this, you probably do, but you try to keep things on the wraps a little bit. You're also the number 2 power ranked team in Division 4. So that is huge for y'all. You know, how would it be if you guys finish strong and you finish probably in the top 5 or top 3 in the power rankings to have a 2 or 3 seed going into the playoffs?
I guess it's always kind of in the back of your mind, but you try not to let it be because none of that really matters right now. And we've got some very tough opponents ahead. Obviously, that'd be great if it works out that way. And, you know, we could be one of the teams that gets a bye or at least a home game. But if we don't do our job right now and, you know, make every next game the biggest game, none of that really matters. I guess kind of thinking back to the offseason when we were first scheduling, it was like, everyone was calling me. Every team was calling me. Hey, there's a new 1A school on the block. Let's schedule them. Try to get an easy win, I guess. I had to turn down countless offers, you know, and we scheduled pretty quick and just looking for competitive games. So far, it's kind of worked out in our favor. But if you just go this early, tallying up PowerPoints and trying to figure out who's good right now, I just think it's too early, and that's not where your focus should be.
Agreed, Coach. Tell us a little bit about your players. Tell us about who really leads the way and really helps this Bears team now more than anything else to be that early success for North Iberville.
Yeah, so I wouldn't say we have any just star players that we're always having to get the ball to or anything like that, but I'll definitely shout out a few of our leaders. Mikel Toussaint is a sideline to sideline middle linebacker for us. He's also a captain, a leader, and he comes in on offense a good bit. And when you need a few yards, he's a guy to get the ball to. He just plays with a super high motor, and the team feeds off of that. You know, whenever we're flat, I feel like he makes a big play, and everybody kind of rides his coattails. And another one is our quarterback, Justice Roy. He's had a great season, taking some steps forward from last year and spread it around a good bit. All of our receivers have been contributing. When you kind of look at our touchdown stats, it's spread out. I mean, your running back's usually going to be the guy that has the most of them, but it's pretty spread out. Everybody contributes. We like to take what the defense gives us, and Justice Roy he's been pretty poised this year and done that, not trying to force it to anyone in particular. But I gotta say, BJ Melanson is probably one of his top targets out there at wide receiver. He's brought in a few deep balls this year that were game-changing for us. And then down in the trenches, I'll shout out Jordell Bass. He's a two-way guy, plays tackle, end, and then also offensive guard for us. And definitely a guy we can lean on and call plays towards, and he's a run stopper as well.
Well, got to ask you this last question. I'm going to let George Peppers take over questions from there. How the atmosphere has been over at North Iberville this season, especially for the home games? Has it been close knit with the community, but not just that? Has it been a lot of tailgating? Has it been a lot of, having a good time? How's it been over there for them home games?
It's the absolute best. I love our community over there. It's how high school football should be. They get out there, they tailgate, they stay in touch with me and the team, and they support us. I, back when I first took the job, I kind of heard from other people outside the community saying, I remember coaching in North Iberville back in the day, and those games used to be crazy, man. And it certainly lived up to the hype. Our homecoming tailgate, it was ridiculous. The campus was full around 3:00. Alumni were coming in from all over the country, really, and they filled up the stands, and they're loud, and they travel with us too. So absolutely love Bear Country. So shout out to them for all the support.
George Peppers.
Coach Gast, first off, I want to piggyback off my two co-hosts by echoing the same things they said as far as thanking you for taking the time to join us and thanking you for supporting our show and giving of your time for us, and we greatly appreciate it. And we're getting a little bit of a tour of North Iberville tonight. I guess Marangoon is the town you're in, right? I think if I'm saying it right, I don't want to get clobbered or nothing like that.
Yeah, so
I
it's
think that's how you
Marangoon.
say it.
Yeah, we're kind of like half in Maryland, half in Rosedale, actually, right on the border. And then we have some kids that come in Rose State as well.
Okay. You talked about, White Castle this week being a toughest opponent, but when I look back at your schedule, I see a couple of wins against teams that have similar profiles. State championship contenders once upon a time, not too long ago, Livonia being one, and St. John of Plaquemine being another. Those are teams that, again, once upon a time had success getting to the dome or making deep runs. Do those kind of games help you in preparation of a game against a White Castle team that admittedly has struggled, but still is respected?
Hopefully, both of those games that we played, they were pretty competitive, and our backs were against the wall. We actually trailed in both of those games at different points. So I think we learned a lot in both of those. Glad we scheduled them. But yeah, I think Livonia was our first kind of real big test going into their place week 2. Really didn't know what to expect, except everyone said that's our big rival from back in the day, so you got to schedule them. And I'm like, it's a 4A school, so we might have our hands full. But I was proud of our guys for figuring it out and staying poised when we were down. And then last week against St. John, great program over there, and we were on the road again. Lost the lead late, and I can't even describe how proud I was of our team for stepping up when we really needed them to at the end to get that win. Hopefully that translates down the road, and we never say never, and figure out ways to win against tough opponents.
How do you keep your kids humble? I mean, it's exciting to have a first-year program be this good, this quick, but how do you keep your kids reined in and have them focused on the long-term aspect of what, the regular season and what you're looking to accomplish? How do you, kids get excited about winning? It's contagious. But how are you able to to get those kids reined in and say, hey guys, let's lock in. Winning is great, but there's a lot more to go for.
Yeah, it's definitely a balancing act. I try to be a little bit of a player's coach, but hype them up when it's appropriate, and put all their stuff on social media, this, that, and the other. But you got to be tough on them too throughout the season, right? When I think it was week 3 or 4, we kind of went through a big win over Centerville, and then we had some adversity the next week where we were tied at half against Vinton. And I was like, fellas, honestly, our highs are too high and our lows are too low. It's really never as bad as it seems, and definitely not as good as it seems. We haven't done anything yet. The wins are great, but you got to be hard on them. You got to be hard on them and keep them humble, just like you were saying. But at the same time, it's supposed to be fun. We don't really do this for the paycheck. You go out there because you love it as a coach, and the players too. They want to have fun while they're out there. So I think it's a little bit of a balancing act.
You're a St. Paul's alumnus, right? If I'm not mistaken. You still follow your old school. I mean, you were there for 6 years, I think, coaching with them or something like that under the staff. Do you still keep up with your old alma mater?
Yeah, of course. Still, a lot of the guys that coached me are still over there. kind of in administration positions now. Learned a ton from them. They offered me my first job. So always stay in touch with, that St. Paul's crew. And, my family still lives out there. So whenever I can pop in and say, hey, we stay in touch for sure.
Might be after Thanksgiving if things go right this year, right? I mean,
Yeah.
every coach in the state wants to coach on Thanksgiving, so
Right.
we'll see. But no, what do you feel like your team is at this after 6 games? You guys look like you have a really good offense. Your defense played good in a handful of games. There were games where they were a little bit of a mini track meet. But when you assess your team through 6 games, what are areas that you feel like are your biggest strength, and where do you feel like it's a 2-part question? And what is your biggest concern as we hit the last 4 games of the season?
It's a tough question for us because I feel like we're actually a pretty balanced team. I think on offense, we run the ball just a little bit more, and that's through games where we've had big wins. And I think we're more of a balanced offense. We don't lean on any aspect of our team. Like I said earlier, we just try to take what the defense gives us. I know that's not easy to do in 1A football all the time. You may not necessarily have a great passer or O-line, and you have to find creative ways to make things successful. But if you can stay balanced, I think that's a little tougher on defenses. Defensively, same thing. I like our speed in the secondary and at linebacker. Our team plays really aggressive. We like to apply pressure from different angles. But I honestly wouldn't say we have a glaring strength or a glaring weakness. It's just kind of a week-to-week challenge to see what our attack points are going to be and, where we want to pick up some slack. So I know that might be the answer you were looking for there, but
no,
yeah.
It's good. Look, honesty is the best. I like your forthrightness and how direct you are with your answers. That's good. I like that. Some coaches engage in coach hyperbole and coach speak and whatnot, but you throw in truth, and that's a good thing. What is obviously the ultimate goal for any program and coach is to win state? But being a first year program, before the season started, what were your list of expectations for this year? Obviously, around the state, the perception was, oh, they're a first year program. They're not going to be this good this fast, but you guys are. What were your perceptions before the season? And obviously, you're going to modify them now, being this highly ranked.
Yeah, we kind of keep it in house because people just kind of scoff at you or roll your eyes as a new program.
Right.
And we said our main thing is to not beat ourselves this year. Let's go out and play our brand of football, and be confident in what we built over the last 2 years and show that we were ready for the moment. So if another team outmatches us, that's fine, as long as we gave it our all and we didn't beat ourselves, with mental mistakes or, just doing things that are out of character. And I think so far we've done that. After that, you're obviously going to list the things like a winning season. We want to make the playoffs. We want to win district, and we want to win state. You would never just not say that to start a season. But like I said, it's not something we just kind of threw out there to the public and all that, because, you can look now. We're not on any voters' top 10 polls or anything like that. It's just like, we can't believe these guys are actually good. It's their first year being varsity, and, maybe we're not, but we'll keep putting our best foot forward and just kind of see, how the cards fall.
That we will. My last question. Oh, wait. Am I here?
Yeah, you're here. You're there, George.
All right. Am I here?
Yes, George, you're there.
Okay. I saw the reconnecting part. That's why I got. Okay, cool. What would it mean to you as a head coach? Okay. My last question is, what would it mean to you personally as a head coach to win the district championship with a first-year varsity program, and then, of course, have success in the playoffs? What would it mean to you personally?
It would mean the world. It would pretty much mean that, I got everyone to buy into this vision, and that's me answering personally. Like you said, I would just be so proud of everybody for kind of buying in and, not accepting that, we're not going to have a great season because we're a new program. So I told the kids this a long time ago. I was like, if my biggest challenge is to get you to believe in yourselves, then I'm here for it, because I know what their ceiling is and what their potential is. And, so far they keep striving for it and raising that bar. So those are pretty lofty goals, especially with some of the tough opponents in our district and in our state. But like I said, we're not gonna bow down to anybody. We're gonna put our best foot forward, and if it works out that way, then we're gonna have a lot to be proud of this year.
Most definitely. Coach Joshua Gast, thank you for joining us. Good luck to you and your team this Friday night and throughout the rest of the regular season and the postseason.
I appreciate it, guys. Keep up the great work.
Definitely. Thank you,
Thank
Coach.
you, sir.
Thank you.
Coach Joshua Gast. And North Iberville is 6-0. First year of varsity play. You have to be impressed so far with this team. Anybody in their first year of varsity play, they're undefeated. You got to be impressed regardless, Mr. VK Jones.
Yes, yes, very impressed. And there have been certain programs in the past that's been new. Sometimes have come off with not too bad years, not too some instances successful, some not. But it happens sometimes. It's a rarity for a program to be 6-0 in their first year. It's very much of a rarity, especially for this type of program. And I mean, starting themselves back up more than anything else, more of a reset. But you know, credit to Coach Gast and his team, and that's why if they can win the rest of their games this season, especially if they get through these 2 weeks. This is going to be really really tough. They get through a state championship program in White Castle, and then Ascension Catholic with first year head
Mhm.
coach Noel Narcisse. So I mean, two first year coaches going at it to really decide the district championship. And then you still got East Iberville, that's a rivalry. So to me, if they could get through 3 out of the 4 games and go into 9-0 before their last game of the season, I'll tell you one thing. This North Iberville team is going to be a very, very dangerous team down the line, despite the least experience. They're going to be a program that's going to be battle tested and ready to go. I like what I see out there in North Iberville. I got to get used to that because I'm used to the East Iberville, the West Iberville, North Iberville. I got to get used to that. Bear country is here.
It is. There's Kendall Boyd saying, "Let's go Bears." Might be a cousin of mine. Y'all never know.
Yeah, them boys everywhere, bro.
We everywhere, boys, baby. We everywhere. George Peppers, your thoughts about North Iberville and the 6-0 start, first year of varsity?
I mean, I'm impressed. I'm impressed by what they've done to this point. 6-0, first year varsity program. Um, and I see another comment, Brittany Mawalsa Kent. Yeah, there you go. Gotta love it when you got fans from that area coming in and giving us some love and giving homage to their team, and that's a beautiful thing. And hey, we're proud of what we do with that, getting programs like North Iberville on the map, letting y'all know this is a highly ranked program that y'all better put some respect on them. And like VK said, piggybacking these next couple of games, White Castle is a state championship content. A team that has been to state championships, has been in competition for it. The reason I asked the question earlier about Livonia and St. John, those were programs David Brewerton goes to Livonia, I think, in their heyday, correct? When they
Yes,
were in the mix for state titles before he went to Zachary.
that's
So,
it.
with that being said, it's programs with decorated resumes. Those kind of games help them. And I think North Iberville, if they get past these two, and then you mentioned week 9, they got East Iberville. I don't know much about them, but I would imagine Iberville rivalry. I would imagine it is. And you got Ascension Christian to close. The thing that concerns me about that program, look, winning breeds confidence. It's a great thing. But lack of playoff experience, if they run into a team that has been there, done that in that setting, how does this North Iberville team react not having been there? I think that's something Coach Gass is going to have to get his players to, hey, look, it's a different set of different circumstance. And he's done a wonderful, wonderful job up there. But, that the playoffs, as talented as they are, the thing that I appreciate about that team, like he said, and he said it himself, guys, they don't have that one go to. It's a mixture of talent that they got. That tells me that they're very diverse and they're very deep. For a 1A school, that's an anomaly. It really is. But good luck to those guys the rest of the way, and we're going to pay attention. Who knows if they get the right setup, we might see them in New Orleans second week of December. We might. And it's Division Four select or non-select. I think they're select, right?
I think they're
Uh,
not select.
hold on, let me check. Division Four
Double check that
non-select.
weekend. Okay, so they don't get Southern Lab and Riverside, so they're going to duck those guys. So
Well, they
non-select.
You got West St. John, you got South
South
Plaquemines,
Plaquemines.
Haynesville. Go ahead, VK.
South
Yeah.
Plaquemines is actually number 1 in the power rankings in Division 4. North Iberville
Mhm.
is 2, 3 is Generette, 4 Welsh, 5 West St. John.
Now, with that said, who in those programs? I mean, South Plaquemines is South Plaquemines. We've seen them play. Wasn't at their best, but still, they're a respected contender. But when you look at the rest of them, it's like, who can they beat out of that lot? You
Man,
know, if they play their best game.
I think it's gonna be up for grabs in Division
It,
Four.
Exactly, it's wide open.
I think Oak Grove is still there, VK.
let me check.
I'm not sure. I
Oak
thought they moved up.
Grove, they are. I think Oak Grove did move up. Oak Grove is actually Division.
Division
3.
Three.
Hold on, Division 3 now. Division 3,
Okay.
and they're the number 12 power rank team.
All right.
And
Okay,
so
Division Four select is up for grabs, ladies and
non-select.
gentlemen. That's
yep,
what I meant.
non-select.
Non-select. Thank you, George.
You're
Non-select
welcome,
is
bud.
up for grabs. So North Iberville got a shot. South Plaquemines got a shot. West St. John, they haven't lost since week 1. So all these teams you talk about, Haynesville, they all got a shot at the dome.
Wide open.
Yes, wide open. So I mean, I think it's gonna be very competitive in Division 4 non-select. I can't wait to see. Oh, when the brackets come out, I can't wait. I can't wait, man. But North Iberville making noise. I see what they do on their social media, all the videos they put up. So I was like, okay, okay, I see you. I see you. Then win after win after win, 6-0. So they're making some noise, ladies and gentlemen. JB the Sports Guy joined by VK Jones and George Peppers, our good friend Jordan Taylor from Under the Lights. He says Haynesville and Mangum are 2 good teams from up north. Definitely Haynesville for sure. We know about them, and I would definitely take your word about Mangum.
Magnum is
Um,
very consistent as well. Very consistent program in itself. So that I tell you, it is wide open. North Iberville might be another connect. I don't know, but we'll see
The
about it. But
only, like I said, we kid. The only concern is the lack of playoff seasoning. But I wonder if those kids will be like, you know what, heck with this. Here we are. We're gonna put a stamp on things here in our first year. They might just say have that gung ho attitude and just go out there and get it. They're good enough. They're deep enough as far as talent. They're not. Their diversity is beautiful. I mean, it's great that they don't have that one guy that you got to plan for both sides. You don't have that one dude. You just got a bunch of guys that are very talented and very consistent, and that's the model program that you got to have. And good luck to those guys the rest of the way. We're obviously going to be paying attention, and like you, JB, when them brackets come out, I'm gonna be interested to see where they get slotted.
because
have a special show that Sunday night.
yes, we got a
Yes,
huge
sir.
special show. I was just saying North Iberville, like the audience wise or whatever. I'm talking about hash it out game of the week, potentially playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Gotta dive in somewhere. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to
PK
make
trying to burn gas now, JB.
no, it ain't
Oh,
about no burning gas.
BK is trying to expand options.
I
Hey
know,
Expanding
I
man,
options.
agree.
He's trying to
I'm
do it.
just joking.
So
I didn't
it's
because
possible.
I didn't discovered a couple more schools
Yes, he has.
and one of them in the North Shore with probably no problems. So just saying
I'll
we
give
have
you one.
to expand.
I'll give you one school, both of you. And yeah, I'm gonna sound maybe a little twinge of a bias, but my old stomping grounds. They're undefeated. They're highly seeded, highly ranked. Bunky.
So
You get to see a couple of guys that are.
the issue with Bunky, that'll be probably a conflict with our friends with Under the Lights. If they don't do it, then yeah, we can grab
Then
him.
yeah,
Yeah, but that's Jordan. That's right by Jordan. So that's the only thing.
Exactly. And I'm not trying to step toes here. I'm just saying because, I
Yeah.
used to cover that school for
You said
12 years.
yes, you did. Yep.
Hmm.
That'll be a conversation between me and Jordan. If it comes down to it, like I'll call him and like, hey, I'm looking to go up to the area. What are you trying to get?
Maybe a game of rock, paper, scissors or two-headed coin flip or something. I don't know.
No, no, it's his area. It's his area.
I know it
Whatever.
is. We're just playing.
Yeah, have but it just be a conversation we have. He
Of
says
course.
I'm going to our way. Then we might hit the bunkie. Won't be a problem.
We
So
so
just
we got some options, man.
If
yeah. Look, 97.7 does get those also.
KPB.
Yeah, yeah,
KPB. I know those
yeah.
guys well. I know those guys well. I know their GM. Yeah, I do. Completely missed that one. If Marksville and them are not in the playoffs or Voiles, because they do cover the whole parish, 97.7 KPB. They do all three teams. So if they choose to come to Bunkie, they're based in Marksville, 97.7. I can tell you that for a fact. I've been to the station. It is a compact station, but they're based in Marksville, and they usually go to Tiger games more. If the Tigers are home in the first round, maybe they go there, and maybe that opens things up. We'll see. But again, that's a conversation to be had after week 10 when the playoff brackets come out.
Most definitely.
And
What we
one like we
doing? Go ahead,
mentioned,
VK. Go ahead.
one school, like there's one school, like I mentioned, up in Bro Bridge is an option. You got a couple other schools, St. Martinville could be an option. Pope John Paul. And I just talked to them people the other day. That
New
could be a
Orleans.
big
There you
option.
go.
Yes. So they
Mhm.
especially talking with the coach himself. So it's good to expand the options. And we had faced a lot of challenges with the game of the week, but it's been a blessing when we find diamonds in the rough that be like, hey, even Jordan with a little bit of his help, like, hey, maybe Mike can go here, maybe Mike can go there. We appreciate that because sometimes if they say, hey, we ain't got too much broadcasting, man. We not hey, let's get you on the air. So, and Jared, I'm glad we had that discussion before. Like smaller schools, a lot of time that is a big opportunity. Like we mentioned,
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
when we went to A meet in Kentwood, it was not bad of a showing, but we know for sure the reaction with the Kentwood folks was after the game. It's like, oh yeah, we gonna have to make our way back, especially if Kentwood is home. We
Yeah,
gotta go back.
a lot of small schools get overlooked, but if you ever watch Under the Lights in Jordan, they do get a lot of the small schools
Do they?
that they
No,
stream.
but back to Bunkie for a second. If we're fortunate to do a game there, I got to get you guys to the Grove. Jordan knows what I'm talking about. I guarantee you he does. That is a hot prime tailgate. I know a lot of people there. We can hook up over there, and obviously I'm going to reconnect with people I knew. Get you guys there, and get y'all to have some good eats. Let me put it that way. They will feed you, big time feed you.
All right,
Yeah.
Austin Tyler, can Peyton Houston take the number one quarterback spot in 2027 over Elijah Haven? He got to take it back
Mm.
because he had it at one time. He
Yes, he
had it at
did.
one time. Elijah Haven took it from him. Um, to be honest with you, Austin Tyler, it's possible. I just I just don't see it. It's possible. Don't get me wrong, but I just don't see it. I see Elijah holding on to that spot. But regardless who's number one and who's number two, they're both going to big time colleges. They've both been offered by pretty much everybody. LSU offered both of them on the same day with two other quarterbacks. They offered four quarterbacks on the same day. And so I think I told VK this. I said, somebody going to commit to LSU first. Somebody going to have to. I
Yeah,
mean, so
it's two tremendous players. It's unbelievable. Especially, I had to look up. I had to look up Houston myself, and I was like, I, and this is what I was thinking. I didn't realize this. There's two big things that kind of was like surprising to me, but I'm not gonna go into that too much because that's a huge thing in quarterbacking. Like you look at John Everett with Silas Rude, Evangel with Elijah Houston. That's a huge change because I'm thinking Elijah
Peyton
Houston.
Houston.
Peyton
Peyton
Houston.
Houston,
I'm
BK.
thinking, I got it. Peyton Houston. I was thinking Peyton Houston. I'm like mobile. No, I didn't know he was brother. So when I seen that, I said, "What?" So it shocked me when I seen the picture. So it's just what it is. But
Hey, man, we talked about Peyton Houston last year. You didn't know nothing about him. You didn't know what he looked like.
no. I knew about Peyton Houston. I didn't. I have seen maybe one or two highlights. I didn't look closely, if you know what I mean. Like you sometimes you can't tell with the
What's wrong with
helmet
him, George?
on and all that, So
What's up, Ernest? What's going on, Ernest? I see you. What's wrong with him, George? We knew about Peyton Houston last year. Me
now
and George. I sat there and told George, "You
I
think
I didn't say I
gonna
did.
sit behind Abram Wardell for a whole year at Calvary Baptist?" I said, "When he's the number one ranked freshman quarterback in the nation," I said, "That ain't happening, George." Boom. After 3 games, he was gone out of there.
I gotta say though, Elijah Haven is special. I mean, Dunham, that's where he's at, right? Dunham,
Yeah.
correct? When Dunham,
Yeah. Shut up.
oh wow, all right, Cheese, I hear you, bro, but that's not for me. But Elijah Haven, if Dunham gets to the dome, a lot of people's eyes are gonna open and look for those that follow Dunham, and we have, in some degree, that dude. I like the comparison. Who was it that just made that comparison that he's Ryan Perrilloux 2-0?
Devin.
He's got the makeup of Ryan. He's got the makeup, the physical tools. That stuff you can't teach. The measurables are nothing you could teach. It's what he does on that football field and how he throws the football. That dude's got a good arm, a live arm, and he's got good feet. Peyton Houston, Evangel's struggling, but that's not his fault. I mean, they
Not his
scored
fault.
76 points last week. That's not his fault. 800 yards passing, and they lose to Captain Shreve. That's not his fault. Do I think Peyton Houston is better than Elijah Haven? Not right now. He's not. Can he pass him? Maybe.
It could happen. It could happen. Another question from Austin Tyler as we wait for Coach Ben Powell to join us. Does Evangel have a worse defense than Airline now?
No.
Woo-woo.
No. I'll answer it. No. Airline's got a historically bad defense. They did give up only 22 last week, but they're still historically bad. With the offensive makeup that they have, they shouldn't stink that way.
Ernest says they will be going to the dome, as in Dunham. He said Dunham's going to the dome. Z Cheese says they need a favorable bracket to make it to the dome. They're up there, to be honest with you, with Airline. Captain Shreve, too. That's just some bad defenses. I would still say Airline's worse, but man, they're right there with them. They are right there with them as far as bad defense.
Mm-hmm.
So, oh man, VK, maybe you can hit up Coach Powell for me, please. Oh, speak out. You ain't got to now, VK. You ain't got
He's
to,
in the
man.
house.
Oh yeah, he's in the
I,
lobby. There he is. We're gonna take a quick commercial break, and we come back. Head coach of Haynes Academy football team, the one and only Coach Powell, joining us right here on the Hash It Out Show.
Head coach of the Hahnville Tigers boys basketball team, and you are watching the Hash It Out Show.
Hands up, hands up. If you winning and you don't give a fuck about a hater, tell them move. Move, move, move. Cause I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. 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 Hands up, hands up. If you winning and you don't give a fuck about a hater, tell them move. Move, move, move. Cause I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning.
And welcome back to the Hash It Out Show. I'm your host, JB the Sports Guy, joined by my two co-hosts, VK Jones and George Peppers. The Acid House Show game of the week this Friday night. Riverside taking on West St. John. You can see it on my YouTube page, JB the Sports Guy, VK Jones, and George Peppers with the call, with pregame at 6:30, kickoff at 7 o'clock. Now, our next guest, he is the head coach of the Haynes Academy football team, and they are 5-0 with a big-time district matchup coming up this Friday night against the not Friday night, excuse me, this Saturday night at 7 o'clock against the Fisher Gators. We have the one and only Coach Ben Powell. Coach Powell, what's going on? How you doing tonight?
Good evening, gentlemen. How we doing?
We're doing great, man.
Yeah, we're
Excited to have
good.
you on with us, Coach. Coach, let's talk about it. What was the feeling of being named the head coach back in June of 2020 of Haynes Academy?
Well, you know that was kind of a weird time, right? That was
Yeah.
COVID. That was all of those things. You know, I don't know what to think. You know, obviously, you know, you're excited when you get a new job. I was the head coach at Cohen before that, so I was moving on over, and I was excited about the school and you know, the academic reputation and the kind of the systems and the admin and all that. I was excited about all that. And then, you know, you get on campus and it's, well, you can't use that. You know, it was the whole thing, right? Like, hey, you can't go in that room. You can't use that room. You can't use the weight room. Can't go in the coach's office. So it was kind of it was definitely a wild time. Uh, you know, I think about that year a lot. That year actually drives a lot of what we're doing now and the success that we're having now. Um, you know, we couldn't practice. We were real limited on practice as far as what our training staff would let us do, the weight room, all those kind of things. And it's kind of caused us, we had some success that year. We won about 5 games. We made the playoffs. Um, and that year we've kind of gone back to some of the things we did that year. This year we did some of the things that we did in camp. We kind of came back to this year and recycled some things. So it was an interesting beginning for sure.
Definitely, definitely. You answered pretty much my second question also with the struggles of practicing during COVID. You talk about the games you won. You made the playoffs, but you had to forfeit a playoff game due to a lot of players on your team having COVID.
Yeah, so we, you know, again, I think it was like a lot of people. It was, you know, we were very limited on practice. So the deal was you in Jefferson Parish was you could only be in pods. You know, you can only have so many players or students at a certain place. So we were kind of doing that thing, and then you know, we'd miss a guy. Then he'd be out for 2 weeks, and then we get the guy back, and then somebody else would be out for 2 weeks, and then you know, you're kind of doing that all year. So we played a lot of kids. So that's kind of why I bring that year up is we played a ton of kids. We probably played every kid that was in the program, right? At some point was a starter, whether they were a starter or whether they needed to be a starter or not. Pretty much every kid we had, I can't think of a kid that year that did not play on a Friday night, right? And then finally we get down to the end of the year. We were, as a matter of fact, we're playing Kenner Discovery, played a really good game with them. And then they had a kid and we had a kid. And then it was all about, you know, huddles and watching film and figuring out how many people were contaminated. And we basically, when they went through it all, we couldn't put a functional team out on the field with how many kids. You know, we ended up being a lineman short, and we couldn't make it work. We tried to, and then finally we had to just cancel the game. So that was a tough way to end that year. But it was a fun year, and I think we accomplished a lot, especially considering, you know, all the constraints we were under.
This has been one of the best starts in school history. Your team is 5-0. Talk about the performance of your team so far.
Yeah, so we are, you know, obviously we're 5-0. There's only one other time that I know of that we were 5-0, and it was the same year that they started out 7-0. Okay, so they had a year they went 7-0. They ended up going 9-1 and got beat by Washita in the first round. So, however you want to look at it, second best start, I don't know. But kind of going back to that first year, we've been kind of maybe fighting the culture or fighting ourselves the last couple of years. So I came in spring football and I walked in and I said, I told the staff, okay, this is how we're going to do it. And I think at first everybody kind of looked at me a little bit crazy. And they're like, no, that's not going to work. But it's really starting to pan out for us. So going back to that first year or this year, I said, we're playing everybody. We're not going to play our best 11. Okay. So again, you walk in and tell the staff, hey, we're not playing our best 11, boys. We're playing the wildest, craziest 22 we can. It's kind of a hard sell at first. But that's what we've tried to do. We've played as many kids as possible. We've kept ourselves fresh. We've kept ourselves healthy. I tell people all the time, our two best outside linebackers haven't stepped on the field yet. They literally have not played defense yet this year in a game. But those two best outside linebackers are our two best running backs too, right? So those guys we've been able to limit the hits on them. We've been able to limit their game reps, whereas maybe the last 2 years, those guys got banged up. They didn't finish the year or they weren't as effective as they could have been. So that's been a big thing this year is playing a lot of kids, limiting our practice reps, limiting our practice time. Monday's a film day for us. We stopped practicing on Mondays. Monday's a film only day for us, a little walkthrough, and that's it. Okay. So again, trying to stay fresh. And so far, so good. We're healthy and we're winning, and we're holding it together.
Before I pass it on to VK Jones, big district matchup this Saturday night at 7:00 at Joe Yenny Stadium against the Fisher Gators. What is it about Fisher that you see on film that stands out to you?
They're tough. They're never a big team. They've always, they're really 2A. Okay, they're playing up in 3A, but they're really 2A. They never have a big roster, but man, the people from Lafitte, Louisiana are tough. They're tough people. They play hard, always play hard. So and we play these. So we're in a little sub-varsity league with all these guys. Our district, we play these guys all the way down to the 7th grade. So it's us, Fisher, Pat Taylor, Young Audiences, Rise. We play middle school, sub-varsity, varsity together. We've been doing that for years. So Fisher is, they're going to be tough. They're going to hit you in the mouth. They play good defense. So it's you don't want to say district championship because I haven't really seen Young Audiences yet. But it does kind of have that feel of like this game is it's going to be big.
VK.
Coach Powell, man, we appreciate you joining us tonight and everything to put Haynes on the map more than anything else. And I do remember that year in itself, that season when they went 9-1. And I remember I called a game on Crest City Sports between Haynes and Thomas Jefferson in the Magnet Bowl. So I remember that team in itself. So yeah, Haynes right now is really getting it together. It's a while, but it's really good that what's going on right now over in Metairie, especially with y'all being in a brand new Ephesus at your brand new campus.
Yep. So and I think that's part of it too. So people don't. I don't think they understand. Like the old campus was really a junior high campus. Okay, right. It was built at it was originally it was the first high school was on the campus, and then it Metairie High, and then it transitioned into a middle school forever. And it was built that way. It was built as a middle school, right? So your PE locker room is your weight room, is your coach's office, is your, it's all of the things are in 700 square feet, right? So we were very limited on operational space there. and they had been for years. We had like 6 weight racks. So Coach Kenny Kendrick and Coach Longo, those are the guys that started the program. When they got there was nothing, like literally nothing. It was just a middle school PE, shower, and they converted into a small weight room. But every sport dressed in that weight room. Like it was the weight room and the locker room, which is I know that's hard to kind of imagine, but you're running a high school athletic program out of a middle school building. So that's been one of the things this past, year or so is, everybody's got their own weight room. I mean, everybody's got their own locker room. Everybody's got their own, shower and meeting room. We have an amazing weight facility. We're able to bring over all of our stuff from the old campus, put it into a new space. We got actually, a place to really do some real workouts. So all of that has obviously helped out.
Very much agreed. And looking at your team this year more than anything else, and you said you played a lot of players. It seemed like looks like the theme of your team is strength in numbers, right?
Yes. So we usually run as a program about 45 to 50, 9 through 12. So kind of for 3A, that's maybe middle of the road or on the bottom half. But again, what we've tried to do the last 2 years is play. I mean, even if it's as long as a kid's not going to get hurt, as long as it's not a liability, we've tried to play everybody we can, and we've probably, the last 2 years, maybe there are some games that maybe we could have won by a little bit more, or even this year, but we played, we got the 9th graders in when we could. We got the 10th graders who don't start, we got them in as fast as we could. We're not waiting until it's 35 points to put in the backups. We're playing kids in real time, getting them real experience. So again, that's just adding to our depth hopefully going into the playoffs.
Looking at your team so far, can you tell us about any of your players that has been, really have been leading the way for the Yellow Jackets of Haynes?
Yep. 2 people that kind of jump off the page is Lachlan Clavery at running back. He is right at, I think, I don't have it in front of me. I apologize, but he's right at 1,000 yards. He's at like 900 and some change. He's averaging 175 or so a game. He's had 3 or more touchdowns every game. So he's doing a great job at running back. Trey Burns as a defensive lineman / tight end. He's had a fantastic senior year. And those 2 guys are, they're guys with a ton of experience. They've basically been starting since they were freshmen. So they've really kind of led the way this year. And our whole senior class has been it's kind of weird. Last year's senior class, just oddity of enrollment, was small. The school senior class was small, and we only had 3 football players in that senior class the entire time they went through, right? So when they were freshmen, we only had 3 in that class. And what happened is this current senior class and current junior class, pretty much all of those guys have been playing. They've all been starting, since they were pups. So it's one of those deals where we kind of took our lumps maybe the last couple of years with those guys, but now that they're on the other side of it and they're all juniors and seniors, we've got guys who've played, they're seniors, they've started 40 games, that kind of thing.
Wow, that's a lot right there. That's a lot right there, Coach. Coach Longo, when he was at Haynes, they had a nice game, a running game, mixed it a little bit with the pass. You pretty much a little bit of the same, but at the same time, hearing it from assistant athletic director Everett Bates saying that it's a straight ground game with power.
First of all, and I'd like to give a ton of credit to Paul for, first of all, when I got hired, Paul became the athletic director. And Coach Longo, so Coach Longo's still there. He's been, we probably got maybe a little bit different type deal than a lot of people. Coach Longo retired as football coach, but he stayed as AD. And Coach Longo is any bit of success that we're having, it's because of him too, and his dedication as an AD and helping us get stuff. I mean, he's a Haynes Academy guy. He went to school there. His children went to school there, and he's been nothing but supportive of our program. Now, to the question of run pass, when we throw a pass, it's 100% a trick play. We are a single wing football team. We don't, we can throw a pass in theory. We have thrown some passes. I knew y'all would ask. We're 3 of 5 passing for 2 touchdowns and 65 yards on the season. But that's it. We don't, like I said, we're if you come and watch us, it looks like something from the 1920s. It's all direct snap. It's all wildcat type stuff. We really haven't had a quarterback in the pipeline, like a true quarterback. So we've kind of had to manufacture some things. But yeah, that's where we're at. We're 100% ground game. I would say 99% ground game.
Well, it almost goes way back to when my dad told stories about the single wing offense, and we're seeing it now in true real life. That's amazing in itself. Last question, Coach, before I pass it on to George Peppers. How do you keep your team kind of maintained? You're undefeated, but not just that. In the power rankings, you're in Division 2 select, and you're
Yep.
number 4 power
Yeah.
ranked team in Division 2. How you can keep your team maintained, and then not just that, what would it mean to your team if you finish really strong and could have a top 4 seed?
There's a lot going on there. Number one, I know a lot of people are. I just want to put this out there. A fellow coach, I live in reserve, so we didn't play Friday, so I went and played. Or I didn't play. I went and watched St. Charles Catholic. I'm gonna say this right now: St. Charles Catholic is going to end up in the semis or better before it's all said and done. I watched an amazing game between them and Terrebonne last week. It was one of the wildest finishes to a high school football game I've ever seen. And I know a lot of people are like, Division II is not very good this year. Division II is going to be in the playoffs. Is going to be awesome. With JFK, I know they had some issues. JFK, probably not going to have a first round bye. They're going to cause some damage. SEC, same thing. Probably not going to have a first round bye. Going to cause some damage. It's going to be the most entertaining playoff division, I promise, in Division II. Now, as far as us, it's funny. It's the same thing that when we went 3-7. It's the same message. We tell them the same thing every week. We tell them, hey, this is the most important game of the year. The kids laugh now. They laugh when I say it. It's the most important game of the year. We're trying to go 1-0. All right. What do we need to do to go 1-0 this week? That's what I told the kids every Monday 3 years ago. It's what I was telling them 2 years ago. It's what I was telling them last year. It's what I told them yesterday. Okay. What do we have a team meeting and I say, okay, well, what do we got to do to go 1-0 this week? And, some guys will talk and some of the older guys will say, hey, maybe, we need to fix this or we need to fix this or blah, blah, blah. And then we go to work. Right. And then we watch the film and, we have a walkthrough on Monday. We come back on Tuesday, and that's the day that we wear full pads and we get after it. And I say, okay, well, what do we got to do to go 1-0 this week? And, they're going to say, hey, we're going to knock the crap out of each other today. And that's what we go do. We go beat on each other for 90 minutes. Then we come back the next day, and it's, what do we got? So it's that kind of process of we've been talking the same thing for a couple of years, and now, here we are. We're talking about being 1-0 again. So hopefully we can just keep stacking that, and we end up where we want to be.
George Peppers.
Coach Powell, first off, I want to also take the time and speaking on behalf of my guys and thanking you for joining us here on the Hash It Out
Thank
Show.
you.
We thank you for giving us the opportunity to talk to you and to embrace your success at Haynes thus far this year. But you're the second coach, first coach to make a bold proclamation. We had a journalist earlier this year in the preseason make a proclamation, and I'm going to remember it come playoff time, what you said about St. Charles being a semifinal team or better. So
Do it.
I've got that filed
Write it
away.
down.
Trust me, it's called muscle memory, coach. It's a beautiful thing. Shaw's in there too, so let's keep that because they're going to play each other. But I want to
Oh,
talk
I
about
know.
your team. Let's talk
Yeah.
about you. You guys are in the top 4 in the PowerPoints, undefeated success, first of all, to this point. But let's harken back. If I heard it right, last year you had to miss a playoff game because of COVID. What did you tell your team when that realization happened? What did you tell your team in preparation for this year about remembering the disappointment or whatnot? What was the message to your team?
Well, back then it was, man, I'm gonna be. That was probably one of the toughest. That might have been one of the toughest nights in my career. We get the call, and I got a deal where normally, it's that last game of the year. Things are winding down. I always make a point to go shake hands with every senior before the game ends. That last minute or two, thank them for what they've done for the program. That's just kind of my end of the year ritual with those guys. That didn't happen. And instead, I had to I got the phone list out, call each senior, telling them, hey, sorry, this is it, season's over. And then having to have that conversation, that end of year conversation by phone with that guy. And that was tough. I'm not gonna lie, that was tough. That was that was a rough way to end it, and we tried, it ended up being like Sunday night. We were trying to conjure it up. We're like, okay, is there a way we could play with, and it just ended up, I think we were going to go to Vanderbilt with like 14 kids, and 4 offensive linemen. Like, you get to the point where it just becomes, it's a safety deal, and you can't draw it up because you don't have the right guys to even put a functional offense and defense out on the field. So that was tough. And that's something we actually talk about a lot as a program. We talk about that year. We talk about, hey, you never know when it's going to end. You never know how it's going to end. It could be injury. It could be, get knocked out. It could be this or that. Play every game like it's the last one because it might be. And, the younger kids don't, they probably don't buy into that as much, but as they get older, they're juniors, they're seniors. Like our seniors right now, we actually had a meeting today, and we were talking about legacy and all that, and how they wanted their legacy at the school to end. They feel it. They look on the board and there's only 4 games on the board. And I've played in 40, and now there's only 4 left. The reality kind of starts to hit you. Yeah, we bring that year up a lot, actually.
How do you assess your program to this point through 6 games? I mean, 5 because you had the cancellation against Riverdale in week 2 because of course, Hurricane Francine. She decided to wreck that party. But with that said, how do you assess your team to this point? What are your concerns, and what do you feel like your strengths and weaknesses are about this team going forward?
This is going to sound like coach speak,
That's fine.
but it's not. We have not played a complete game yet, and I think if you watch any of our games, special teams we have been very poor in special teams as a whole. We've been great at times, but we've been extremely poor at times. Last week was one of them. We've been very inconsistent in special teams performance, and you cannot win in the playoffs, and you cannot win in our division if you are, if you're not solid on special teams, you're going to be one and done in our division. So I would say right now that's the point that we harp on the most. It's the thing where we probably have the most sense of urgency is trying to fix as far as film, as far as practice time. Our biggest block of practice time tomorrow in that 90 minutes is going to be on special teams. Strengths of the team, our offense kind of, gets a little press or whatever because of the numbers and because of running and all of that. But really our defense, we're playing great defense this year. Our defense is putting us on a short field most of the time. Our offense and defense. And I would say the actual strength of our team is the defensive unit. So like I said, I know that sounded like a lot of coach speak, but the reality is we've got to tighten up special teams in the next 4 weeks or we're going to be in trouble.
When you look at your program as compared to the teams in Division Two Select, the teams that you're most likely going to see, how do you feel like you measure up with those teams based on film study and what you've seen from them, like Shaw, like Kennedy? Kennedy's not going to be a hot seat because, of course, of the power. What happened with the ruling. So, teams like that. How would you measure your team up against those kind of teams?
I feel, I think we've played recent. We were in the district last cycle with Livingston, Sophie B. Wright, JFK. And again, part of our kind of play everyone philosophy this year was born out of that. We would play like last year, we played a 14-point game, 12-point game with Livingston the last 2 years until the fourth quarter, right? We literally just ran out of gas. We've been competitive with a bunch of those guys until we ran out of gas. We felt like 2 years ago we could play with anybody for 2 quarters. Our best 11 was that good. But so that's kind of affected where we're at and what we do and how we do it. I feel like, you look at that top 8, there's some doozies in there. Now, minus a JFK, minus a St. Charles Catholic, I feel like a first round game, we can play with just about anybody in that part of the bracket. I feel good about the way we play football, and I play, like I said, complementary football, what we do on offense. I don't care who you are. I've been running this offense for a long time. You can't stop the single wing. You can't. The only thing that stops the single wing is, do you have better humans than me, right? Or do you have is your personnel just that much better? Because it's the reality of 11 on 11. Like the defense can't account for an extra blocker, right? And then an extra blocker that you can move to either side of the ball post snap. The defense struggles with that. So I feel like, hey, as long as rosters are similar, we can play with a lot of people in that section of the bracket. Now, you start talking about the Shaws of the world and the U-Highs and all of that. Well, my honest answer is I'll be real thankful to be playing a third round game against U-High, right? If I'm in the position to play Shaw or U-High or Vanderbilt in round 3 or 4, we'll be thankful to be there. I'll be excited to be there.
It's an opportunity that you embrace. Obviously, I covered a team similar to you. The single wing, and as a broadcaster, it's murder to watch because the offense is great, but it's like who's going to get the ball? It's like the quarterback turns around. It's like which one of the backs in the backfield is going to get it, and you really got to zone in as a broadcaster. So that makes it tough for us. But I'll say this: it makes for some fast football games when you run that offense. Time of possession. I'm probably always going to win that if you run this offense effectively because it's very difficult to stop. Talk about the intricacies of this offense and how difficult it is. It makes life on a defense to stop the single wing.
So here's the deal about the single wing. I'll try to make the story as fast as possible.
Okay.
I was at Cohen. All right. I was at Cohen. Man, we had 15 kids, literally. We had 15 kids at Walter L. Cohen. Uptown USA. We had 15 kids. But they were tough. They were hard nosed, and despite what anybody will say or think, they were yes sir, no sir kids. They showed up every day. It didn't matter. But we didn't have a quarterback. Okay, there's no quarterback. No, we didn't have a kid who could throw the football, 25 feet. So we had decided that hey, we're going to run the wing tee, right? I grew up in the wing tee. One of my coaches on the staff, he had been in the wing tee, and we're just kind of brushing up on that because I had been literally an air raid, Mike Leach. I coached. I was an assistant coach for Larry Dotrieve. We didn't know what the run was at East St. John. It was we were going to throw it and throw it and throw it and throw it. So we go and we're kind of refreshing, and we went to a clinic, and there's a guy talking at this clinic about their short yardage package, right? And we both look at each other and we're like, man, that's it. We're going to run that. So I go up and I'm talking to the guy, and the guy's like, well, this thing's called the single wing, and I'm not really allowed to talk about it. And we were like, you're not allowed to talk about it. What are you talking about? And he said, listen, man, there's this guy down in Florida. You got to go see this guy in Apopka, Florida. It's outside of Orlando. Mm-hmm. You need to go talk to him. I'll get you his number, blah, blah, blah. So, hey, I like to go to Disney. The kids like to go to Disney, whatever. So we make a trip out of it. I go down to Apopka, Florida, and I meet a guy named Rick Darlington. He's been to the state championship like 5 or 6 times. In the highest classification in Florida, running the single wing. So I go down there, and we meet and we're talking. I meet with him for a weekend, and he's like, "Look, you really need to get to Iowa." He was like, yeah, we run this thing, and this is the deal, and whatever. But there's these guys up in Iowa. You got to go meet these guys up in Iowa. And at this point, I'm like, all right, let's go. So I go up. They have this meeting. This is for real. This is for real, for real. They have this meeting once a year. All these single wing coaches from all around America, they meet someplace. That year it was in Des Moines, Iowa in January. So I fly up to Des Moines, Iowa. I go to the hotel. I walk in. I see some guys at the bar. They look like football coaches. So I go in. I said, hey, I'm here for the single wing meeting, right? And the guy is like, well, where are you from? And I said, well, I'm from down just outside of New Orleans. This guy, he told me, blah, 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 come up here and talk about the single wing. And the guy goes on the other side of the bar, pulls out his cell phone. He calls, blah, blah, blah. He calls a guy down in Florida to like verify that I was legit. And then he comes over and he's like, oh, yeah, Coach Darlington says you're okay. Come on, let's go. So I say all of that, and it's borderline cultish. It's borderline insane. But these guys get together once a year. They have a big, I said these guys, I'm included in that. They get together and talk about this stuff. But it's basically, I tell people like this, we played football like this, okay, basically longer than we have played football with a quarterback. All right. It's a direct, and people are like, well, what is it? It's this. Anyone can run the football. Okay. Anyone can block. And if you want to, anyone can pass and anyone can catch. All right. So that gets you into the stuff where you're direct snap to a running back, and they fake a sweep, and they throw, essentially a play action pass. Right. But you get into all kinds of funky little reverses and handoffs, and, there's all these little intricate doodads. People forget when I was at Cohen, our 4th leading rusher was actually our left guard, Myron Thomas. So they even got plays where you can hand off to the lineman and do all kinds of, just crazy wackadoo stuff. We got a play where the running back hands off to another running back, and he throws a pitch to a guy, and then he throws a pass to an eligible lineman. And again, it's kind of like the 3-card Monty thing of trying to figure out who's got the football, what are they trying to do. And it's so foreign that it's kind of like the option. That's how I explain it. It's like the option in the sense that you're the opposing staff. You get the film on Saturday or Sunday. Okay, what is this thing? Okay, all right, all right. We know Powell runs the single wing. Okay, let's try to figure that out. And then you put a game plan together, and like I said, it's really about personnel. So you're forcing that other guy to either nothing against, I'll give here's an example. JFK last year had a great corner. What's our corner in C gap? Nothing against the young man. He's a great player, but they literally, JFK, as good as they are, they got to substitute a guy out. So now they got to, now they got to take out their 5-star and they're putting in a backup, at either a linebacker or a D lineman. Now, hey, it's JFK and their backup, the backup linebacker is a 4-star. So it all worked out for them. But, you're kind of forcing people into situations where, and it would happen to us too. We're built, our defense is built to stop the spread. If you asked me to take my corner and bring him down into C gap and stop the run, I love him, but it's not going to happen. So you're asking people to either substitute out people, right, that maybe aren't comfortable being on the field, or you're asking a guy to play essentially a completely foreign position, right? And that's the kind of the real secret sauce to the single wing, is that people have to create a defense or change their defense. And then now they got to do it all in, they got to do it in 3 days plus a walkthrough. Yep. And they're, they can't mimic it. Right. So now it's the coach is holding up the scout cards. And it's like, no, that guy, he never runs that way. The guy runs this way, or, he blocks down this way, or no, number 47 never does that. He always lines up here. So now you're getting, you're not getting as many reps as you need as a defense to scout it. That first live look in the game is the first time your kids have really seen it. So I think what happens is, again, it's kind of like the option. All of those things kind of compound, and they make it real hard to stop on Friday night.
You guys are undefeated. It's a great job that you've done. But what has the enthusiasm been at the school with the success that the team has had, and how has that translated to the home games? How much of an advantage has it given y'all being at home with the kids, and obviously the community and the alumni of Haynes? How has that really translated to help you guys succeed this year to this point?
Yeah, well, I would say we usually have solid student support always. We got a great student section, but obviously, you can't explain it, and if you've never been an educator, like, people just don't know. If your volleyball and football teams are good, you're going to have the best year ever, right? Like, there's just something about it. I don't know. There's no professional reason, but other than just school spirit, right? But when one or both of those teams are having success, you're going to have a great school year. So obviously, kids have been excited. The hallways, people, we come in Monday, or we were off yesterday, school holiday, but we come in today and kids are already talking about Saturday night, right? Like, and I'm not talking about football, just kids are like, hey coach, what time can we get in the stadium, or this or that, or, all of those things. So yeah, it definitely brings a certain, a buzz, a certain amount of school spirit that you can't replicate. And I've been on both ends of it. I've been lucky enough at places where we were very successful. And again, it has a real tangible effect on your school if you start out with, a winning football team.
Question. Turn it back over to AB. Again, this week you got Patrick Taylor, Jefferson. You guys obviously, I think, are one of the favorites to win district. Patrick Taylor's a bit of a rebuild. Jefferson Rise is still a young program, and the like. Coaches hate this, and coaches hate it to look ahead. But if you guys are able to go undefeated in regular season, win district with a program like Haynes, that's a young program just getting its feet and really just trying to establish themselves, what would it mean to you personally and professionally to win this district title?
Yeah. I man, that's a tough question. I'm going to tell you this though.
All right.
And I know we're talking about Haynes, but to this point, I've never been more. My first year at Cohen, when I got to Cohen, they were on like a 40, I don't know what, like a 48 game losing streak. Okay, and my first year there, we went 0-10. And I have never been more proud of a football team than that 0-10 team, because there was only 15 of them, and they never quit and they never stopped. And they were never not showing up with their hard hat and yes sir, no sir, and bringing it every day. So a little different experience, comparing those two, but this group is very similar in a lot of ways, right? They have been a group, especially our seniors. I told them today, and we don't really talk about it. Again, we talk about being 1-0, but we did talk about it today in a senior meeting. I told them, I said, you guys have been through, and people outside the program don't understand what you've been through. You went through COVID, these hurricanes, the building stuff, all of these different things. You've taken it on the chin. You've been in these districts and this and that. I say you deserve this. You deserve this because none of y'all ever quit. And it would have been easy 3 years ago when y'all were sophomores and we went 2-7 to quit football and go do something else, right? But none of you quit. You kept taking it on the chin. Last year when we only had 3 seniors, and you were getting blown out by Jewel Sumner, and it was, I don't know, 1,000-0 against JFK. Y'all kept showing up. Y'all kept, you kept working. You kept doing the things that we asked of you. So I mean, I don't know what it means professionally, but I mean from a personal standpoint, and these kids, it'd be pretty special.
Coach, we got one more question and we get you out of here. It's from one of our fans in the chat room. He asks, have you ever thought about speeding up the tempo for your single wing offense?
Yeah, somebody's got the secret. We do. We clock the ball at about 30 seconds. So if we average for the season, we're averaging 78 plays a game. So what we do is we teach it just like the college guys do. So we bypass all the officials, whoever the running back is. They run it straight to the umpire in the middle of the field. If the line judge is like, "Hey, throw it to me," no, we run right by that guy. No offense to the officials, but we don't want the slow line judge dropping the pass and throwing it to the field judge. All these things. So we have some mechanics as far as snapping the ball. We bring it in as fast as we can. The linemen know to get to the hash or get to the middle of the field immediately. So if the game clock is clocked at 40, we want the next snap at 30 seconds. So somebody in the chat room, yes, that's kind of a little bit of the secret sauce for us, is playing with tempos. And now there's times where we'll be super slow. Okay, we'll take it and we'll take it all the way down to 2-3 seconds. But that's not very often. That's usually once we catch the lead. But yeah, we are a no huddle, up tempo single wing team. So sounds kind of bizarre, but yeah, we got wristbands and code words and all the shenanigans. We got it.
Yes, indeed. Coach Powell, thank you for joining us. Good luck to you and your
Thank you,
team
guys.
Saturday night, and good luck to you and your team throughout the rest of the season.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you for having us on.
Definitely, Coach. Thank you.
Coach.
Thanks, guys.
Whew.
I tell you what. Aunt Julie Guillory, since I know you don't want me to call you by your nickname on here, but tell you what, Next season, get us a Westfield game. We'll come to Houston.
Hmm.
We'll come to Houston.
Hey, that sounds
Broadcast
like
a Westfield game.
that sound like a great idea. Really expanded.
Yeah,
Come
definitely.
on now, come on now, Julie, come through for us. I like that how you did. Houston, Texas.
All
But
right,
I ain't gonna lie, we just had a coaching clinic
we
just now.
did. We did.
Oh my goodness. Coach Powell, man. Big shout out to you, man. I mean, this may be one of the most longest interviews we've had ever for a coach, but it was
I ain't gonna
well
say
worth
that.
it.
I mean, it did go
Yeah,
I
40,
won't.
I'm saying
45 minutes, but
Ooh.
you all right,
he came
George?
on this with me. You all right,
Yeah, I'm
Joe?
fine. I'm fine. I was going to tell a story about the single weight after VK finishes because I told you I worked for Royals for 2 years, and I'll tell it now. They were playing Bunky in a regular season game. All right. Well, once a Mustang, always a Mustang. Who's that in reference to?
That's Westfield. What I was just talking about. The Westfield
Oh, okay.
Mustangs.
Anywho, so they bring this 415-pound old lineman on the field. 415. It's in the program. Guys, 5'9", 5'10", 415. I turned to my color analyst. I said, he's getting the ball. Ain't no way he's blocking. I said, I'm telling you, he's getting the ball. Bunky at the time, they don't grow him that big defensively. Offensively, yeah, but defensively, they got dudes are 180, 190. And it was at the three.
Yeah.
I said, they're giving this big boy the ball right here, right now. Sure enough, boom, they give it to him. There were about 5 dudes hanging on this guy's jersey, stood straight up, went in the end zone. I said, that's a, dude, I mean, they couldn't get him down. 415 pounds, that's a big boy. I was like, damn, he just butt dragged him all the way to the end zone. I was like, but the single wing, it's a very intricate offense. It's fun to watch, but it's murder as a broadcaster because you got to lock into which of the ball carriers in that backfield gets this football. That makes it. What apology, cheese? That's the second time he's hit us with this tonight. That's what I want.
When you let VK go, he gonna say it.
Exactly. I don't know what this is about, and
I,
it's not
I know
slander,
you don't. I know what's it about. I know what it's about. VK knows what
but
it's about.
just I know we were in our chat, and just an update. VK, the Yankees are winning 3-1. So new blood, see ya. Championship material, get there. Mets Yankees World Series, embrace it. That's what's up.
After 2 games, whatever. It ain't over yet.
God, haters are gonna hate Jared Boyd.
It ain't
Haters
over
gonna
yet.
hate.
Go ahead, VK.
Well, before I get to what I really wanted to get to, I was saying what a good interview, probably one of the longest, and on top of that, it was
Great.
a true coaching clinic in itself. Learning about the single wing and everything else to say about that and game planning. I mean, wow, really enjoyed that. But I do want to say I do want to apologize to the people over in Lafayette Christian and
Oh
also at
yeah.
Archbishop Shaw. Oh yeah, you
Oh
forgot,
yeah. I
huh?
remember now. I ain't
Uh
saying nothing.
huh.
Picking against a
Yeah.
7-time state finalist. How dare you, sir?
I'll be quiet because you forgot. So don't worry about that.
Huh.
But
Nah,
you forgot. But all I know, I apologize. I'm a man of my word. I always been a man of my word. And I'm gonna stay as a man of my word. I apologize, Lafayette Christian. I apologize to the Archbishop Shaw Eagles. It was a tough week. I don't know who won the week, but plain and
Jared.
simple for those two. I,
He did. I'm telling you, he won the week.
I'm done.
He did. I'm telling you, he won it. But now he just
He
went out
mad.
screen.
He mad.
See, big man. Two. No, you went 20-5. I went 18-11. VK went 17-12. I'm sorry, 18-7, and VK went 17-8 for the week.
Oh man.
Mm.
Exactly, Austin. That's what I'm talking about. I
I,
wrote him bad Friday night after that game was
I,
over, Jared.
I just did that, Austin. You missed it. Thank you very much. I apologize for Shaw, and I
Where's
apologize
TC?
for.
Wait, hold on, VK. Where's TC Bazile at? Come on, bro. Where you at? Where
He,
are
he
you?
ain't showing his face.
Talking.
He ain't showing his
Exactly. He
face.
was talking all that
He ain't
noise
showing
last
his
week.
face.
Talking about y'all not
All
gonna
that be
like this
talking all
trip to
that
Vassy.
nonsense.
Yeah,
Ah,
where are you, big boy? I mean, I'm not a
yeah.
Shaw grad, but dude, you were talking mad stuff last week on the show. Talking about y'all don't want this trip to Vassy. Y'all don't want this
Look,
trip to Vassy.
look. We barely heard that horn blow.
Really,
They didn't blow it one time in the second half.
dude, you could have seen my. It was so quiet in Thibodeau Friday night for our last game.
I'm sure it was.
I mean, Hahnville dominated from Jump Street that night. And look, to hype up this game this week, West St. John 5-1. The only loss was the opener to young audiences. Bet if they play that game again, they win it.
Four and one.
You know,
4-1.
huh? 4-1. Yeah, that's right. They had a game exited due to Hurricane Francine. Riverside, y'all saw what they did last week. Dedrick Lasty, Greater New Orleans Quarterback Club Player of the Week. Of course he is. 8 touchdowns, 534, and a 19-yard touchdown reception, too. 9 touchdowns. We saw VK and I saw Dedrick Lasty in the quarterfinals last year against that very team, St. Martin's. And to see a clinic of greatness in one football game, we're going to see it again this Friday with Dedrick Lasty. Jared, you going to be with us, or you going to be at?
I probably won't be with y'all this week, but I'll definitely be with y'all for week 8, week 9,
Okay. And week 10.
Week 10, if it's not on a Friday night. If it's on Thursday night or Saturday, yes. Friday
Yeah,
night.
we still have to figure out week 10 though. But this is an interesting matchup that we'll talk more about tomorrow night. Riverside, West St. John. The Rams are legit improved. Legit. Riverside is Riverside. Look, they took one on the chin 2 weeks ago against VC, Vermilion Catholic. Yeah, we do, Cheese. We're going to Edgar Friday night. And it's actually my first time at West St. John this coming Friday. I've heard so many stories about the atmosphere, of course the tailgating, but everything else. I mean, that fan base is one of the more underrated ones, to be sure. And we get to experience it Friday night, VK and myself. And just listen to us Friday night on JB the Sports Guy on YouTube. And we figured some things out. We're gonna be good to go this week. VK was telling me about it. And we made that pit stop after the game in Thibodeau after Friday night. And I got to give Big Mike's a shout out. Them dudes know how to they know how to kick it. That was A+ food Friday night after the game.
I'm going to say this right quick. We had a couple questions and a couple comments on Instagram, so I'm gonna get to that in a second. Evan Stive had a couple things. The house Tyrus Jackson built.
Oh damn! Well, Austin's just taking shot after shot at you, VK. My God, bro.
It'll be all right. It'll be all right.
Austin Tyler, all I'm gonna tell you is this. I don't care what week it is or whatever. This might be the week. This week, I get my vengeance on everybody. And I don't care that might be the only. I don't care if that's going to be the only week I win. I want vengeance this week on everyone. All of you will get it. And next week, you will bow to me. That's all I'm going to say. And I'm done.
I'm going to bow to you. But you still be
the King of Kings goes back on his throne, huh, Jared? But
yeah.
To answer Devin, yes, I had the brisket.
All right, here we go. Nola Lee says H-Town schools are equally equivalent to playing a JP school. I strongly disagree. Westfield was a national ranked school a couple years ago. North Shore is always ranked. They have some good schools in Houston. Then you got Katy. So I will totally disagree with that. Ernest says, why do they have 4A teams playing in 3A playoffs brackets? Well, number one, we don't have 5A, 4A, 3A, 2A, 1A brackets anymore. It's Division 1 or Division 2, 3 or 4 select. And they got Division 1, 2, 3 or 4 non-select. Now, to say 4A and 5A, like Westgate, supposedly Westgate enrollment is barely over the Division 1 non-select number. So that's why they're there. In regards to JFK, their 3A school is within the Division 2 select enrollment number. It's crazy. That's why I would like to go back to just 1A through 5A. It'd be much simpler.
This and we is looking at it right now. You look at like we wanted to go 1 to 5, and to me, this is like hopefully we can get there. This is like the closest thing we're gonna probably get to it because of the fact of all the matchups that we've been having. This is not a third year of this system, and it's been very, very successful of what we have seen, especially in the postseason. So, well, hopefully that we can get to 1-5. But this is the closest thing right now because hey, I'm like this. It's actually working. It is actually working. So I could definitely say that.
I would say those who want a Carl Rustin State Championship, you're not going to get it. You're not going to get it, ladies and gentlemen. But
John
anyway,
Devin.
yeah, he'll VK. Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
But anyway, ladies and gents, that is it for our show tonight. We are back tomorrow night. We're going to talk about our top 5, talk about a couple games we had went to, and then we will do our picks. We're going to pick 20, I think it's 23 games this time. 23 games on who we think will
Look at that,
win
VK.
those
Hold
certain
on, I'm interrupting.
matchups.
That man's putting 23 games, so and some of those are probably obvious picks, VK, so we can't make up ground. That's cheating. Cheating. We need to have at least
Really, bro?
40. Yeah, really.
Oh no. You can go under the lights and pick your 40 games over there. I'm not doing 40.
Hey,
Jordan
I'm not hating on
they
them
do
at all. They do a great job over there.
Jordan did, I think, 59 games last week.
Jesus.
Yeah, I ain't doing that
59.
many.
That's a lot.
I think
We
59.
we be on all night if you talking about that.
Yeah, it'd be a midnight rendezvous with the Hash It Out show.
Yeah, Cheese, you hit him up tomorrow about Restream stuff. I'm gonna hit him up tonight on what I found on Restream stuff too. I found something else also, VK. So you're getting double whammies. All right, VK. There you
Double
go.
knowledge.
Whammy.
No.
Yeah, not like that, George. Shut up.
No, press your luck. The game show.
Oh, okay.
The game show.
Oh yeah.
All right. Other than that, we are back tomorrow night, like I said. Thank you to Coach Gast for joining us. Thank you to Coach Powell for joining us. And thank you all who all were here to watch the show. Thank y'all. Tell your family members, tell a friend, tell them all to tune in tomorrow night right here on the Hash It Out Show. For George Peppers and for VK Jones, I am JB, the sports guy. See y'all tomorrow night right here on the Hash It Out Show. Y'all take care.
I'm Coach Ramirez Page, the head football coach at John F. Kennedy High School, and you watching the Hash.
I'm Lisa Hiller from Ponchatoula Lady Wave, and you're watching the Hash Out Show.
Thank you for watching.